Hi everybody, welcome to With Love and by Carrie. I had posted my whole Paw Patrol group of centerpieces that I sent out for an order for a birthday party, and I had a lot of requests for a video on the Paw Patrols because I posted it on Silhouette Cameo Project Inspiration group on Facebook. And I had a lot of requests to do a tutorial on how to make a Paw Patrol. I'm not going to do all of them, so I had a request by somebody to do Marshall. So I'm going to do Marshall for you. Now to start off, you have to find a coloring book picture with high resolution picture from the Google. So I'll take you through all the steps to find that and show you what you have to do to get there. So let's get started with that. Okay, so let me open up my internet on Google Images. Okay, so Google Images. And we'll put in Paw Patrol Marshall, whoops, Marshall, is it 2L? Marshall, coloring book. And now you come up with all the coloring book pages, basically all of the Paw Patrol. But we want only Marshall. So what I would do first is I'd go to Tools, and I'd go to Size, and I'd hit Large. You want your resolution to be high. The number, when you run your cursor over it, you see the numbers underneath it here is what you want them. You really don't want anything that would be oh, that one's sick. You really want to keep them, these are all big because I changed the size, but you don't want to go too small. 600 would probably be good. Nothing less than that, because you really want them to be big when you're tracing them. Alright, so I had already picked out one, and I have it on my Silhouette mat. So let's get that one. I found him, and this was his actual size. And what I do is I save everything to folders. I have folders for everything. So with my Paw Patrol, if I showed you what I have in here for Paw Patrol, I have all of these. Okay, and they're all high resolution. I also pick out ones with colors, so this way I know what colors go where when I'm doing my actual paper piecing. Okay, so let's get started. Now I have him, and I want to make, I like working on a white background when I'm doing tracing. So now I'm also in the new studio. Stop it. Excuse my puppy. So we want to go to Open Trace Panel. Hit that, and now we want to select Trace Area. So we're going to highlight the picture, and it's going to turn yellow. All where the yellow is where your outline is. But we're going to first make sure that we have him detached from the back. So I'm going to bring my threshold up high, and then we're going to do trace and detach, and you'll see what happens. We'll wait for that to happen, and now I'm going to take him off. The wording underneath stayed. Now I have a white background, but he was on a white piece of paper. So then just run your cursor and make a box over the whole pad, your mat, I'm sorry, and you'll see where all the green dots are and all of these selected things. That's the background piece of paper and everything that was left behind. Just hit delete and it'll all disappear, because you don't want that. You don't need to trace those. So now we have Marshall back, and we're going to trace him again. Hit the select trace area and go around, trace him, and he's going to turn yellow. Now, if you're looking at him and you see everything is basically covered in yellow, but there's a little black still over here, and I'd really like to get this corner right here more definite, more of a definition of a point, and there's a little black over here. So let's get those edges really crisp. So the threshold is at 45. I go slow at this point and bring it up a little bit. And as you're bringing it up, you'll see that the yellow is covering up all the black. Still want to go a little bit more because there was black over there. Now that's good. And you just want to go around and check to make sure that all your lines are crisp. Now we're going to trace it. You want to do the double butterfly, not the one butterfly. If you do this one, all it's going to do is trace the outside of Marshall. You want him to trace everything. So you're going to do the double. So we're going to hit that, and now we're going to move Marshall off. And there you go. You have your Marshall. He's actually a very easy character to trace. So primarily there's nothing to change. So what I'm going to do at this point is, let me move it out a little bit. And now what I'm going to do is I am going to select him. So now I have a box around him. I'm going to right click, and now I'm going to release compound path, because we can't color him in solid. If I colored him in now, let's just say black. You have to have him selected, black. And all you get is that. This is it. It's just a coloring book picture. You don't want that. Unless you plan on doing vinyl and you just want the outline cut of him and that's it, you got it. Now this is all ready to be cut for vinyl if you want to just do a vinyl. But I don't want to do vinyl. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the color. And now we're going to right click and we're going to release compound path. Those are all the pieces that have to be glued together. Okay, so we're going to ungroup that. Okay, we'll get rid of him. And now I have a picture of all the characters right here. So I have all the colors and I know where the colors go. It's a little blurry because the resolution on this picture was horrible. So, but there's Marshall right there. So we know that he's red, white, black, a little bit of yellow, a little bit of gray, and I think if I remember correctly, he had blue eyes. So let's get started coloring. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give myself the grid in the back so you could see where the white is. Sometimes when I do it, I'll do it in like a light gray if I'm leaving it as a background of white. So, but I want to put my grid back so you could see everything. Okay, there you go. Let's make it a little bit lighter. There we go. Alright. Now, we want to make his ear white and his face white. Now, there are pieces here that are not attached to the side, so you want to make this a compound path. So you're going to hit Shift. Oh, let me make it a little bit bigger for you so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to hit Shift. I'm going to select his ear, which covers all of this area, but we're going to have to select the outside of his eye. We're going to have to select his patch, this one, and I think that's about it. Okay, so let's make that make it a compound path. Now I'm going to color it in white, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Can you see the lines are no longer there? These holes are all going to be black, because when I do my centerpieces, I always have the background black so that it looks like a coloring book picture and it's kind of animated. Okay, so now let's get more color. So this little piece is part of his face, so we're going to make him white. And this part of the ear is white. And inside his eye is white. And this part is white. I think I did that right. Okay, and we'll make that white and that white. It moved a little bit, so let's move that over. Okay. Now, his hat is red, right? His hat is red. So we're going to make this part of the hat red. We'll make that red. And now you're coloring in all your pieces so that you are aware of what colors go where when you're ready to put it together. Make that red. This little piece over here is going to be red. And the top. And that is going to be red. If you want to select two pieces at once to color, you have to hit Shift, which will then hold them together. Now, you can see all these pieces here. That's his flashlight. We don't need to put all those pieces there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually manipulate this picture a little bit so there's less for us to do when we have to go put it together. So I'm going to leave this piece, and you're going to see what I'm going to do. I'm going to change this. I moved it a little bit so that you could see. Now I brought up my nodes. I'm going to also zoom in extremely close to that area. When you do the double zoom, which brings everything so close, if you touch your screen again, it's going to zoom in again. You have to change it to your arrow select. Now we're going to double click on this piece, and I'm going to take the bottom node and I'm going to drag it, and I'm going to bring this node down and drag it. And now you have these blue pieces on the nodes that actually help you manipulate the shape. I will delete this one and that one and delete this one, and I think that should be good. I'm just going to bring that up a little bit, bring this over here. Now this is a corner because it only has one. As you can see, it's only one blue piece. I want to make it smooth, so I'm going to hit the smooth, and you have now two blue pieces, which makes it curve. And I'm going to bring this in a little bit, and now this, and I'm going to get rid of that node because we don't need it. I'll make it flat. There we go. Now this is a smooth node. I want to make it on a corner. This one will stay here with the curve. This one will bring it back and make this very straight. So now I have the flashlight in one piece instead of 15 pieces. You don't, this stuff is not necessary, so we're just going to get rid of it. Now right here, my cursor, right here you'll see the flashlight. So this is all going to be dark gray. Dark gray. I'm going to hit my Shift, dark gray, and let's make that dark gray. And when I do the circles, I want this light, the circle one in the middle, to be a light gray, and I want this circle, these two to be in between. I want it to be dark gray like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the outside one, I'm going to click the one in, and I'm going to make it a compound path. Now that means that those two pieces are become one. And I'm going to color it in with the dark gray, and it leaves this empty circle on the middle, because when I color the background black, that will become black. And if I'm losing anybody, please let me know. Same with this badge up here. I want these two outside ones. I'm going to bring it in closer so you can see what I'm talking about. This one and this one, I'm going to hit the outside one. I'm going to hit the one in. I'm going to make this a compound path, and I'm going to make that gray. I am going to make this one a lighter gray. Okay? And now let's go back a little bit. Now, let's start coloring him in a little bit more over here. I want to make his eye blue. Let's say blue. And I want to make, see, I think I did this one wrong. So that's white. Okay, so then this one, this outside line, and this inside line, I want to make a compound path, and we're going to make that blue. There we go. We can make this white, because this is the shadow in his eye. Now, you don't have to use these small pieces. If you have a white jelly pen, I use the jelly roller. I just put the little dot inside there because the black is going to be coming through right here inside this blue. So as we go, we'll see. Now, even this line here on his nose, we're going to leave that white. Primarily, Marshall is black and white. Okay, so now what color was his, alrighty, so he has a yellow. So this would be yellow, and this would be yellow. Okay, and this piece here is red, and this piece is red. You know, I'm going on what I remember, what I did. And that would be red. Now his, well, let me see, where is it? Okay, that's all red except that one piece. This piece here was gray. Now if you want to get a little crazy, you can make these the light gray to make it look a little bit more dimensional. So this was red, 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 and that's his tail. So that's red. See how he's coming together? I can make that one red too. Okay, and his tail is white. His body is white. Well, maybe that's not his tail. Hold on a minute. Let me see that picture. Where is the picture of Marshall? There it is. And this looks like it's part of that tank. Okay. So let's make that forward again. That's a weird place for his tail. Okay, so that's white. And that would be red. And this is white. His paws are white. White. Oh, wait a minute. See these holes? We have to make a compound path with this piece. So click on his patches, each one, and then the whole paw. Right click and make a compound path. So now it's all one piece. So that piece is taken. Now we need this. No, we don't want that. I want this piece, this piece. See, when you push it out further, you have a harder time grabbing things. Okay, so we want all that white. And his pocket here is red. Okay. And his neck is white. And I don't think I missed... Oh, wait a minute. We got to do his badge. Okay, so let's move in a little closer. Now, as you can see, his badge, there's nothing there. So what I want to do is I actually want to move this over because I don't like where the placement is. And I'm going to... Now remember, anything that you design on your computer is yours. So whatever you see and you want to do, you do. Don't worry about everybody else's work. So this, me telling you how to do this is just, you know, to show you. If you see something that you want to change and do something different, you could do that. Alright, so now we have nothing in this badge. Now, to show you how to manipulate it to get what you want, because I want his little badge, his fire, I found this on Google, and I want just the flame. Okay, so let's trace this. Trace it, see it turned yellow. And I'm going to trace. Now I just have the red. Now all these pieces are attached, so I'm going to click it. It highlights everything. I then am going to release compound path. Now we have all these pieces. And I'm going to get rid of them. Click on it, delete, click on it, delete. Now I have this. It's two pieces. I only want one. So I'm just going to take the inside one and I'm going to delete this one. Alright, and then what we're going to do is we're going to make it smaller. And I'm going to bring it over here. And we're going to make this larger. Now remember, I went to the double zoom. I have to go back to the select button, change it. Now let's get that smaller, and we're going to turn it. And I want it to fit right in there. So we got to turn it a little bit more and make it a little bit smaller. There you go. Now, I'm not going to make a black background with that one. I'm just going to put it right on top of whatever color I decide to make his badge, which is red. So we're going to make the inside part. Let me remove this out. We're going to make this inside piece right here. We're going to make that red. And then I'm going to make the fire orange. No. Let's make it yellow. Yellow. And I'm just going to place it right there. I don't want black around it. I just want to keep it that way. Now also, I want to do the paw. That should go on his helmet. So again, we're going to take the select trace area. I'm going to trace the paw. Trace. And move this guy out. We're going to highlight it, release compound path, get rid of all of this, and delete it. Now I only want the inside pieces, so I'm going to zoom in, because when you're far away, when it's small, you can't grab the pieces you want. So I want the outside pieces. Okay, and now I'm going to delete these. And I'm going to, because these are all individual pieces, I'm going to right click and I'm going to group. And then we're going to make it really small, and I'm going to flip it. Okay. And we're going to make that white. Now, there are pink lines around it. You want to keep those pink lines. Those are your cut lines. Don't color them in. Okay, let's get that over. Looks like we're gonna have to make it a little smaller and bring that right up there. And again, we're not going to put a black outline around it. We're just going to put it right on there. Okay, so I think basically I got all the pieces covered and colored. This little piece, I want to make it larger, so it's a little, there's a little bit of definition to it. Because if it's that little and you cut it out, you're not going to know why. So let's make it a little bigger. And I'm going to double click it so I could get nodes. And I want to make that smooth, but let's go in a little bit close. Whoops, I want to go in closer. Okay. Because I want to be a little flat. And again, this is all practice to know what these nodes actually do. Like if you want it curved in. So this piece right here is like outlining his eye. And I wanted it to be a little bit more visible so that it will look more realistic in, I guess, a cartoon kind of way. Alright, let's move that back down a little. Because you have to remember, this is the outline of his nose right there. And you want to keep it in place. Alrighty, so let's zoom out. And now the magic happens, because I'm going to do the outline. I think this little piece here I needed to make white. It's either white or red. Let's make it red. Okay. Now, I'm going to hit the outline. You'll know you got the outline piece because the big box came out. And we're going to color that black. Oh, I missed a piece. Hold on. This piece right here has to be white. Did I just move it? No? Okay, so we want it to be white. Alrighty. So now let's hit the background. Color it black, and there you go. I forgot to color in his mouth. See, I knew there were things I missed. Okay, so I think this was pink. Let's see. Let me look at his picture and see what's going on. So that would be pink, and that would be black. Minus. Okay, so let's go back into Zoom. I want to remove this piece. You don't need this piece here. The reason being is because I already have it black, so you don't need another piece of black paper. No need to cut stuff you don't need. Okay, so that piece disappeared. However, I want this to be spaced. I don't want this to be colored in. So I'm going to click that. Nope, that's not what I wanted to click. I want this piece, this piece. Okay, see how it got highlighted? I'm going to hit Shift, and now the background, which is the black background, I am now going to right click, make a compound path, and now since the black covered up the white, that means the black moved up a layer. We want to send it back so that the colors are seen. And there you go. And this is open space. So if I took, let me just make this a different color. Let's make that blue, purple. And I send this back. I'm going to show you that this part right here is now open. See? That's what happens when you do the release compound path. It takes away objects. Alright. So, minus. Okay, so now we don't need this anymore. We don't need this anymore. And we don't need this anymore. Just take the clutter away. Minus one more time. Let's just see. And he looks pretty good. What do you think? Let's zoom in a little bit. There we go. So we got a full Marshall. Now, I make my pieces 18 inches to 20 inches. And if you wanted to make him larger than the 12 by 12, this is how I do it. All these pieces are separated. They're all different pieces. So I could go like this and move the pieces away. I do not want to do that right now. He's all assembled. So what I'm going to do is I am going to highlight everything. I then am going to right click. I'm grouping. Now that he's grouped, he's all in one. I'm going to bring him over here, closest to the edge. And I am going to now in my, over here, I'm going to change the size. I want the height to be 18. But before I do that, and press enter, make sure that you hit the lock key. Okay, I want this to be 18, and then hit enter. So everything stays in proportion. Okay, so let's see if I didn't lock it, unlock it, and I make this 18 and I hit enter, he gets distorted. So let's go back, get him back to size, and we're going to lock it and make this 18 and then hit enter, because it automatically will keep these numbers the same. Now that he's 18 inches high, I'm going to place his top of the head in here like this. Now he's good. But what I like to do first is I duplicate. I always duplicate my work in case anything ever happens. So we're going to leave him small. And also, after you take all your pieces out, you want to know where your pieces go when you're done, after you do all your cutting. So let's now group everything together. So let's do all the red pieces first. So I'm going to, first of all, we have to ungroup them. And I'm going to take all the red pieces. Red, red. I'm hitting the shift while I'm hitting all of these, so they stay together. And I don't have to move things one by one. Okay. Let's right click and group and bring all the red pieces off. I forgot this one. And I don't remember where it goes in terms of this. Alright, so we'll leave it right there. I think that's where it went. And then grab both of them and group it. Then his hat is red. Red, red. Whoops. Okay, we got his whole hat. Put that there and group it. This looks like it's only, you're going to have to use 2 pieces of red paper, because there's no way you're going to get all of this twice if you're doing double-sided on one sheet of red. Okay, so now let's get your whites. And group. Whoops, how did I get that? Ungroup. I don't know how that happened. Alright, so I'm actually just going to go like this. And group. It's not what I wanted. Take the white and we'll group that and put that there. And we're going to take the white from here. Now remember all his eyepieces. and grab that paw. Let's group it. Oops, I forgot a few pieces. Let's bring that there. Ungroup. Because this, the paw piece, I want to bring in. Okay. And we'll bring this down. And this piece. Oops, you know what I forgot to do? Let me just go back a minute. You're going to say, you want his freckles. I forgot to do his freckles on his face. Okay. How am I going to do that now? There they are. See how I had to run it over, and there are those freckles. I'm going to hit shift and his face, and I'm going to make it a compound path. Why did it turn black? Let's turn that white. There we go. Let's put that back down there and put him back together. Sorry, guys. Alright, so see your holes, because those are his freckles. Ungroup. No, I don't. How did this get stuck here? Let's ungroup it. Let's release compound path. Move this as a group. Put this over here. And then grab this again and make it a compound path. Okay, there you go. All these pieces have to stay together now. Alright. And then grab the other pieces of white. Bring them down here. So everything gets separated. Let's just move this fast. I just want to show you how to cut him so that he's in half. So I got all these pieces all over the place. Fix them up later. This flashlight. I mean, I'll put all the colors together so that I could put them on one sheet of paper. Okay. Alright. So now I have this piece. But all these pieces here match this, so don't change any sizing. Now we have him. I want to cut him right across. Okay, so I'm going to take the knife and I'm going to take it and I'm going to go straight across. Now if you notice, on the left hand side of my red line that I'm cutting is an arrows. If you take that and you see the arrows disappear, your line is straight. And whoop, right there, straight. Let go. Now you have a knife still. You can't do anything unless you go and you change it back to your select tool. Okay? Now you have two pieces. Alright. What I would do at this point, and how I put these two together, is I make a rectangle. And I try to make the rectangle about 1/4 of an inch wide. Let's see, what size is this? It's a little over 1/4 of an inch. It's no big deal. Because this piece, you're going to put double stick tape on, and it is going to glue this piece to this piece. Okay? Now when you're going to, if you're going to do this double-sided, when you're doing the black piece, it doesn't matter, you don't have to flip it. However, when you go and you do the face or the legs, what you would do is you'd grab all the pieces, you try to manipulate all the pieces to go in the right spot so that when you go and you cut it out, it all goes on one sheet of paper, first off. Alright, so let's just say this all goes on one sheet of paper. We're going to group everything together. actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to ungroup this part, and you'll see what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this and move it over here. Put this here. You can manipulate the pieces any way you want. You just have to remember, when you go and you cut all these pieces out, you have to remember where they go. So I group this together, and I want to do double-sided. This direction that his face is facing is perfect for the black, but we were going to make it go opposite. So what I do is I duplicate it, and then I flip it horizontally, and that will be the other side of the face, the other side. And you'd have to do that with all the pieces. Okay, so basically that is how I get my cut pieces for a large centerpiece. And not tomorrow, but maybe the next day, I'll cut all the pieces out and put them together with you. Okay, everybody have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and thank you for sharing, and thank you for coming to With Love by Carrie, and I hope to see you soon. And please like my videos. Thank you. Bye-bye.